Hey, welcome friends and fans, new fans to Bob's Retro Electronic Workshop. Yeah, a little tongue twister there. I have a sister channel called Bob's Barn Workshop, where I do all kinds of other things, woodworking, cars, whatever. This is focused on fixing old electronics. And right now, a lot of it is focused on the Commodore 64 series. So, the last video you saw, which boosted my subscription rate tremendously, was a collaboration between me and Matt D'Amico of RetroBits. I originally did the video on this drive of taking an Alps drive out of an old Apple drive, floppy drive, and dropping it into the Commodore to make it work again, getting rid of the old Mitsumi drive with the bad heads. Both Matt and I had great success doing it. Super simple, it all worked great, just getting the wires connected correctly. Matt designed that beautiful interface plug and play circuit board. Now I'm going to go over with another time over the connectors and just point out the wire colors and stuff that I missed. Those red and black wires that I was missing from the big header here are nothing but the power LED. No, actually these are the activity LED, and then there's another one over here, P4, which is just the power of the... we'll go through that again. So I'm going to show you how to do a switching power supply, get rid of all this power supply stuff on the motherboard, make it run much cooler, much more efficiently, and a lot lighter. This is the case, nothing but the case with the new face that Matt printed out for me. We had a little collaboration on that before. And this is the drive, the Alps drive that I bought before that worked. It was claimed to be all calibrated and working, but I had a hard time reading discs, but I might have bad discs. Of course, my venerable old, excuse me, 250-425 series Commodore 64, which I've done an ARM SID replacement, I've done a PLA replacement, I have put heat sinks on all the major chips. Now this is kind of like Adrian's Digital Basement, kind of like the ZIF board he has, because all the major chips are socketed. So I don't really repair that many. I'm not going to be a Commodore 64 repair guy. So if I really need to pop out a chip and try it in another board, I can do it from this carefully. I was in electronics with Kodak for 20 years and then another 12 years at Rochester Institute of Technology and their development department. So anyway, thanks again for coming on board. We're going to get into doing this. I've got a Commodore 128 sitting right over there that we're going to try to repair. I've got some other things I want to do. I've got some old tube radios. We may or may not do a restoration on those. If you really like old tube radio stuff, go to Mr. Carlson's lab. Phenomenal guy. Teaches you a lot of great stuff. So, let's get busy on this Bose repair. That's what we're on to for this video. My wife's Bose desktop dock, it's about 20 years old, and it stopped working, and I'll show you how to fix that for free, and let's get at it. We'll see you there. Alright guys, welcome to Bob's Retro Electronic Workshop. Today we're going to work on something a little bit newer, I guess, than old computers. But what I have here is one of the first generation BOSE Sound docks. You know, you plugged your iPad into this connector, and these things sound pretty good. And my wife actually has a little Bluetooth adapter she plugs into it. Well, recently it stopped working. And I got looking online, and you can buy a new board with a new connector on it. And all you do, now this is a Gen 1. You can tell it's a Gen 1 because the screen only goes to the edge like a rectangle. There's 3 screws in the bottom of this little half moon shape. They're actually T8s. Now I actually found T8 Torx. I actually found a small Allen wrench from my whole collection here, and it actually got them out. They're not very tight. So what I've done is I've pulled this forward a little bit as per the instructions I saw online to get some slack in this ribbon cable. And now I'm just going to pull that ribbon cable apart carefully. And we're free. Okay, so this guy and the 3 screws can set aside. Now what we're going to do now is we have to peel off this backing, which is just a flat black way to bank. What's wrong is this connector should not move like that. What's happened is it's broken, and it may be just the solder joints. I'm going to see if I can just resolder them and maybe glue this down with some glue. If not, you can order this whole new little green board part and get it replaced. So I'm just going to peel that black off and we'll look at it. Okay, I see that on the back there's like 1 pin in the middle that has been pulled loose. I mean, I got nothing to lose to try to fix it. And there's extremely fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put some flux on that. I'm going to take my soldering iron tip and I'm going to go over those. I'm going to put on my Optivisor here and see when I get done. This Optivisor has a little eye loop in it too. Yeah, it looks like the solder joints are just broke, not the conductors. They're just pulled loose. And I'll solder this down again. And I mean, we got nothing to lose to give it a go. And I'm going to put some hot glue around the bottom of it or something, or otherwise we'll just order the new board. Yeah, there's 3 ground pins on the back that have pulled out. I pulled the connector right off. You can see those super fine. I mean, I don't know how many thousandths apart they are, but you can see the size of my thumbnail compared to those connectors. And you'll see, actually there's 5 solder points that are supposed to solder this thing down. So I may have to take the board off and the backing board here. Now I saw the guy do it. He just took a X-Acto knife and cut these are little mushroom heads that were just melted. So I may have to solder that from the back to get it. I think I can solder it from the front if I put a little flux on it. Yeah, and I see the leg is bent down. Okay. Alright guys, we're back here in the lab, my little workbench. I got my micro soldering iron out here. I've got my Optivisor and my loop here. Now, I'm looking at I'm going to look at this. Oh man, it's getting knocked down. You have to be very careful not to bend any of the leads on this connector. I think I'm going to clean up. There's like, honest to God, 5, 10, 15, 20. There's probably 30, 35 pins on this. I'm going to clean up the solder. This one's bent. That must be from us reefing on it to try to get it So I'm going to try to remove all the solder from this with some solder wick. I've got my little micro Weller gun here. And I'm going to try to heat the solder. I might need my bigger iron for this. Yeah. Let me turn on my other iron. I got my, off camera, I got my little helping hands and light here. I'm hoping we still have a good view. I'm going to lay this toothbrush here so I know that I'm in line with what you're looking at. I got some new flux. Never had liquid flux before. When I worked at Kodak for 20 years almost, from 1984 to 2002, I believe. And at the time I worked in their advanced development division, which we didn't really produce any products. We were literally experimenting with many different technologies of the day. But what I'm going to do is, let me see if I got some snippers here. Get some fresh wick. I guess when your wick gets old, it gets oxidized too, doesn't it? I wonder if I put a little flux on this. Alright, a little flux on that wick. I'm going to try, let me see if I can get my helping hands over here. Now I'm going to have to readjust you. There we go. Let's see if you're in the camera view here. No. That little tiny connector right there has like 5 pins on it. Get that up there, see if it'll focus now. Nope, I want to focus. There we go. Alright, so now I'm going to just try to wick off some of this solder. Ah, that was working. These got to drop back in the holes. because they attach the connector to the circuit board so you don't rip off your little fine Actually, I used to be the guy at Kodak that they went to get these connectors, not connectors, but different large-scale chips and stuff placed on computer circuit boards. I had one of those hot air things that shot hot air in from the top and the bottom and all that. I might sneak a little glue right in. Now while I'm in here, I'm going to brush a little bit of flux on all those pins and give them just a retin. It looks like the circuit board has enough tin on it. So I'm going to try. I think I'm going to have to remove the circuit board. But I'm going to tin those, this stupid light. I keep on ramming my head into it. Are we still looking at it? Pretty good. Back up just a little bit. You can see all them little tiny, I mean, there's the tip of my finger. So I'm going to put some flux on this Q-tip. Thank goodness for my OptiVisor. Even when I could see good, I had to use this. I don't want too much flux because I don't want these to short together, you know. Alright, so now we got our ultra fine soldering iron here, and I'm just going to try to tin these just a little bit. See, I got a blob on there. Big iron. Oh, it's turning out nice too. Alright. The problem is this isn't really ultra fine solder, but it's the solder that I have. Let me try to clean this soldering iron tip. I'm just going to take a razor blade and back scrape it. shake a little off. Now, there should be enough solder on there to actually tin these. I'm going to take the big soldering iron, put a little flux on my solder wick, I'm going to try my bigger soldering iron. There we go. All right. Let me get my eye loop out here. And I don't, oh, I do see one small bridge. Done. All right, no bridges. And I think to solder this, I'm going to have to solder the connector from the back. So I'm going to have to cut the circuit board off. And I saw the guy do it online, and you literally just, apparently these little tips stuck through the board and they just melted them. I don't know how I'm going to attach this back on. Super glue, I guess. Circuit board off. All right. So now we've got the circuit board free. We need our little connector. And the first thing we're going to do is put a little flux on everything. The 5 holes because that's what gives it rigidity. Here, I'm going to zoom in on that for you. You can see the 5 holes in there. Right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's where, oops, there's a piece of pipe here. Alright. I got to flip that over and solder that connector in from the back. So, we're fluxed. I've been told I'm all fluxed up. Anyway. See, she sits right down there perfect. I'm going to try to solder the ones on the front from the front. Because they're far away from the... Okay, big soldering it is. Once I get it tacked down so it won't move. I think I can get one from the back. I put it up on something. Okay, we are making progress. Now I'll retouch them all from the back. I need some of that super fine solder. That's soaked down in there good. This is fun, she said. This is so good. All right. Oh yeah, it soaked through real well. Now, literally, I just have to, here, I'm going to rearrange it when I get a chance here. Try to get in there. Those fingers are laying. Get in there and see if it'll focus. There we go. I'm going to back up just a little bit though. Now I need to get in there with my little fine soldering here. Wait a minute. I've got a heat gun. I forgot. I'm thinking just hot air will do this. Oh yeah. Okay, she's melting solder now. I am just going to carefully watch those solder joints. I gotta get in there and look. Hold on. I need my eye loop. Oh no, they're all lined up right. let that cool down. Well, what do you think, guys? Did I solder it? I think what I need to do, I have some new probes around here. I'm going to go in there and poke with a sharp probe of some kind to make sure that these pins are actually connected. No, they're not. Shoot. Okay. I mean, shoot. I thought for sure I had that down tight enough. It's not, though. Alright. Okay, let's get it all flexed up again. I'm good at flexing up. Okay. Golly gosh. I'm gonna let this little iron get hot again. Gonna try to do it with the little iron. I got my hot glue gun coming up here. I thought that hot air would do it. There we go. Get that thing back a little bit. There was just a gap on it. There's just flux underneath them. They weren't soldered at all. Because there's a little bit of a gap. Alrighty. It's slobber time.
Stopping point?
No.
Fingers ready.
I'll be right up. All right. Now I gotta try to suck the solder back out that I don't need in there. Oh boy. I'm getting the excess solder out. I just don't know if I'm taking too much out now and not having contact. You know. One of the easy ways to tell that is just to wiggle the wires with something sharp. All right. I'm pretty sure these are all good, but I'm going to try to beep these out. I got some very sharp new probes here. Oh yeah, I can do this. No short. No short. No short. Wrong connector. Okay, I've tested them all. No shorts, and they're all making contact. Hot glue. Okay, this is how I'm going to attach it. I'm going to go for it. So before, maybe I can do that though. Before, they just melted some little tips over. I wonder if I can still do that. I got some of the plastic here. Because this has got to be mounted pretty solid, otherwise it'll pop up and out. And I don't really want to super glue it. Should I clean that again? Keely can't get behind the thing, but see, it was beeping where I was supposed to be beeping. Okay, so we're gonna pick up this nib. I'm saying it's fixed. Wow. That really did it. The problem is we can't find the dang iPad or the Bluetooth adapter that we had. So I'm going to take the hot glue. Put it all around the base. That'll help me keep from breaking it off again. And as I said, if this doesn't work, I'm not out anything. Alright, I'm going to go get the base unit. And we'll put it back together. I sound like Norm from the New Yankee Wheat Shop. Alright. One of the first things you got to do is put the mask back on it. That just keeps you from seeing the circuit board. So it must go this way. So when you look down in there, you just see black. Alright. In this little sucker, it's got a slide back onto the ribbon cable, which is nothing but a friction fit. Come on, baby. And that looks about like the way it was. And now we need to get it to go back in here. Maybe I can loosen this up. I gotta find my flips. Cause this has got like some foam on it for friction here. Boy, sucker's tight. Maybe that's enough. I gotta go get the right screwdriver set. Where am I whistling Christmas tunes? I just do not know, Margot. Now we need to find the right type of Phillips for this. It seems to bite pretty good. That's miserable. Okay, that should be loose enough now. There we go. So I took these out with a little Allen wrench. See if I can go back in. This is supposed to be a T8. Going on. Very coarse threads. There we go. Let's tighten these guys back down. These are probably JIS screws, Japanese Industrial Standard. I don't know why they have to be reefed down so tight. It's just freaking plastic. I don't think I even loosened that one. Okay. Bingo. Bingo, baby. Now, the problem is, I don't have any way of testing it. I need to find an iPod, the iPod, or her little USB adapter, or not USB, Bluetooth adapter. I've looked everywhere, she's looked everywhere. You know, an iPod isn't very big, it's just a little silver thing. So, we'll get back to you when we test it. Alright guys and gals, here we are back on the Bose, I forget what they call it, dock. Countertop dock. This is, I think, generation 1 because the screening only goes to the edges. I guess the newer ones it wraps around. You saw me repairing the socket, taking it apart, get it out. Just remember, everything needs to be clean. You got to get the corrosion off. You need to use some flux, fresh solder. Remember, I had to clean all the solder off the 5 mounting pegs. I had already pre-tinned the leads coming off the socket because they didn't look good at all. So I cleaned them with flux and tinned them with solder. And I thought that they were going to be in intimate contact, so I soldered the socket down to the board, used a lot of solder so that they'd be, that's what supports the stress. And I tried it with the hot air gun. I thought it soldered. It didn't solder. They were all loose. So then, as you recall, I flooded the whole connector with a lot of solder, made sure that it soaked in good, and then I took my solder wick up on the legs where you could see the exposed legs of those little pins and sucked off all the solder that had wicked between them and visually inspected it until I got it all off. And then I went through with my multimeter in just beeping continuity mode and tested between the pad and the leg, and then the next pin to make sure they weren't shorted together, then the next pad and the next leg, and then to the next one. They went all the way across and made sure they were all connected good. Now there's several pins in there. There's 2 like near the middle that are common to the same trace, and there's 2 or 3 at the far end, the right side of it here, that are connected together. So don't get confused and think you've got a short if you do this process. Then I glued it down with hot glue. And then I went shotgun for it. I decided to reassemble the whole thing, bring it up here. Now last night I did plug it in, and I plugged in my iPod to get it charged up. So let's do a little test here. Little demo. Now I'm going to have to be careful with, oops, it did its little boop. let's get the iPod. Now when you put these iPods on, be real careful. Don't twist them around, go just straight down. Just like that. Alright, slide to work here. Let's see if this is working. Alright, now see, I've got to talk through this because we can't have any, I don't want to get a copyright hit on this. So I'm going to turn this down. I don't even think it hurts if I don't play the music. Okay, so it's working fine. I cranked it up. It works beautifully. My wife actually has this little thing for Bluetooth. You plug this little Bluetooth. It's made by Xiocom. Xiocom, that's all I know about it. Plugs into the base of this and gives you Bluetooth, and it also has an 1/8 inch jack, so if you want to plug in like a little iPad thing or one of them little players, which I have one, a little tiny one, you just use a stereo 1/8 to 1/8 plug, and you can plug in your own audio directly into this. It sounds great, and that's all there was to it. Now remember guys, Bob here has another, I want to begin with the latest video that was a collaboration between Matt D'Amico of the Retro Bits channel and myself. I've had an explosion of subscriptions since then, so thanks to you guys. Thanks so much for supporting this little channel. We're going to try to grow this little channel. I have over 40 years of experience in the electronics industry. So, I went to college back in the late 70s. And so we did some cool stuff back then. And of course that was the day when 74 series ICs and Logic were just coming out. Op amps were getting really popular. We had just missed the period where they even taught anything about tubes. So anyway, Bob's Barn Workshop is my primary channel. It's pretty large right now, pretty popular. I have 6 years or so with 350 videos of hot rods, like a 67 Mustang, building a stroker engine, 72 Mustang or 72 Volkswagen Beetle, Super Beetle. I haven't done much work on that. I have tuned the engine and put in a distributor and stuff. Mini bikes, go-kart, anything powered. My lawn tractor, doing the tires, doing the exhaust, doing the starter, doing different stuff like that. We've done that. Woodworking, I build cabinetry, I build kitchen cabinets. I show you how to build a whole kitchen cabinet system out of knotty pine. Electrical wiring in a house. I used to be an electrician back in the 70s. That's how I started my career in electronics. A little bit of plumbing. I even do some wild game cooking. But I wanted to concentrate on electronics on Bob's Retro Electronics Workshop, so I appreciate you guys. Check out my other channel. I've got over 350 videos on there. They're long videos. Now when I make a video, I get a project, I set it on the bench or in the barn, I turn on my camera and you capture everything. How I figure out how to do things, the mistakes that I make, everything. Nothing is perfect. If I make a goof and I have to fix it, then you see that. So it's kind of like real time, real life. If you don't like that kind of format, then they're not necessarily here's a quick how to do this. No, it's more like here's the whole process with all the problems and errors and things you might run into. So anyway, Bob's Barn Workshop. So thanks guys. Thanks for coming and tuning into this Bob's Retro Electronic Workshop. And we're coming right back. I'm going to make another video about the collaboration between Matt and I on the disk drives. I have two 1541s. One I received with an Alps drive in it, but it really needs alignment. It's goofing up. I have a 1571. I have the one that I did the fix on with the Alps drive from the Apple drive. I've got that one. We're going to put that together, finalize that project. But before we do, I'm going to retrofit a small switching power supply for it. So you're going to see me real time how you would take out the old stuff. I mean, you got to take off some components on the motherboard, take out the big old transformer. You got to wire in the AC wiring from the wall power, so if you're not into that, don't do it. And this will take a lot of heat out of your drive, make it last a lot longer, and a lot of weight out of it. So we're going to do that, put everything back together and test them. It might be 1 or 2 videos, I'm not sure. It depends on how long it takes. But thank you all for tuning in. Stick around for the next videos. God bless, take care. We'll see you in the next one.